Hey YouTubes, I am back. I know I've been gone for so long and I've been neglecting my channel, but no excuses, but I've been really busy, and so now I am gonna be back on YouTube. You know how when sometimes you take a little break off, you get kind of lazy? Well, that's what I did. I got kind of lazy, but your girl is back, and I think I got back around the perfect time because fall is one of my favorite seasons. So for today's nails, we're gonna be doing some cute, pretty simple fall nails. Let me get on it before, you know, if I keep neglecting it, next thing you know, we're gonna be doing Christmas nails. So here I am back, and I miss you guys so much. And you, oh sorry, my phone was going off, but you probably watched my live here and there a few times when I went live, but I got lazy with that as well. Well, not lazy, but busy. So check out these fall nails, and hopefully I'm gonna be uploading new videos every week, and check it out, guys. You guys probably noticed that I've been doing a lot of square nails, so I am gonna use the Notpolish XXL C-curve square tips, and I like to use the tip that's actually bigger than my nail bed, because the bigger the nail bed, the bigger the tip, it gets a little bit longer, and I like long nails, so I'm gonna use a bigger tip. I just trim off the edges like that, and then fit it into the nail bed, and drop a little glue and glue it on. See, I like to drop the glue on the nail bed and then press down the tips. You see, trim the edges to make sure it fits the nail plate. Drop a little bit glue on there. And then I'm going to dip my tip in a little bit monomer. Now I'm going to dip it in a little bit monomer to help it stick faster, so that you know that you're working with nail tips that's a little bit on the thicker side. Dipping it in monomer will help it to stick almost instantly. And you know that in the summertime when it gets really hot, make sure you keep your glue in the fridge or in a really cool area, or else it's gonna get really bad and gooey, and it'll be really hard for it to stick onto the nail. Okay, so make sure you keep it in the fridge and in a very cool area or whatever. And look, keep your glue on top of your penny. That's a little stand for your glue. How cute, right? Even if the clients want to keep the length of the nails, I like to trim off just a tad bit, just to make it kind of super like straight across, because the tip itself is kind of curved at the end a little bit. So I'm going to trim it off to make it straight. And I'm using the sanding band that's a medium grit to remove all the shines from the nails, and to kind of blend the nail tip into the nail plate to kind of flush everything together. So when you apply your acrylic, the nail tip is not poking through, right? And make sure you remove all the shines, or else it's going to cause a little bit lifting. But before we do that, I like to use a tornado bit to blend my nail tip into my nail bed better. I think that way it doesn't get hot on the client finger either. I'm using a little bit acetone to remove all the oil, and now we're going to bond it with the XXX bond on top. It's okay if you want to double bond, okay? And I'm using the new Candy Coated Collection number 1012. And the nude that I'm using right now is number 113 Nude Me. And usually when I do a deep French, I always do 2 beads. So the first bead on first, and you notice how it's kind of runny, and I'm just kind of playing around with it and just kind of push it into its place. And then when it's set a little bit more, then I go ahead and apply a little bit more pressure and pull down the product into like a tip in the center, right? Like that. And then I am gonna pull it down a little bit more, very light pressure, and clean my brush. And then I'm gonna use the tip of my brush to kind of mold. It's kind of like, have you guys do old school French where we have to paint on, well, not old school French, but like a gel paint, where we used to paint on the white gel, and then we use a French brush to kind of clean off the edges to make it super nice. You guys remember that? Well, this is almost the same way of doing it, but instead of gel polish, we're kind of shaping it with acrylic and acrylic brush. So same concept. Super, once you get it down, super easy. And you notice something different today? I actually kept my monomer jar right in view, so you guys can kind of see how much I dip in and how often I clean my brushes. It's very important that we do keep our brush very clean. You know why? Because if there's any piece of acrylic on top of it, it's really hard to work with. Okay, so make sure you keep your brush clean. And then you see how I'm dipping in a little bit monomer, and I flush it into the cuticles. And I actually always, most like 90% of the time, I'm recording my video at live time. So anytime I'm working with acrylic, I want to keep it at like actual time frame that I'm doing it, so that way it'll be really easy for you guys to kind of compare yourself to how my speed. Because sometimes when I speed it up, it just felt like, you know, kind of like you feeling like, hey, how come she does this really fast and I'm so slow at it? And I don't want to kind of give you guys that impression that like, hey, I should be working really fast like her. So I'm keeping it on the same speed, just so you guys can kind of see how fast I am pulling the product down or how slow I'm pulling the product down. And you see how much I dip my brush in monomer to kind of clean it and to kind of help me pull the product down more smooth, like very nice and smooth. You see that? And I work when working with acrylic, do not rush, okay? Because sometimes I feel like a lot of people, when you put on the bead, when it gets a little bit runny, you guys started freaking out. And then what you guys do is you guys started dragging the product off the nail, and that's a no-no. Because when it's super runny, you go to drag it down, what happens is you end up dragging way too much product off, more than you should. So do not freak out. What happens is when you do pick up a bead that's a little bit runny, what do? We pick it up, right? No, I'm just gonna wait till I do this bead. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush, I'm gonna pick up a bead, right? And if it's a little bit runnier, I'm gonna put it on top of the nail. If it's a little bit runnier, I'm gonna hold it in place like that. Look, hold it in its place, hold it, clean my brush, and kind of work in the cuticles first. So by the time you're done flushing everything into the cuticles, the product can kind of dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull it down. So make sure you guys do not freak out if your bead is a little bit more runnier, on the runnier side. I would rather you have the product on the runnier side than the super dry. Super dry, you can't really work with it anymore, but it's on the runnier side, you can kind of control it a little bit better if you don't freak out. Okay, so make sure you keep it on the little bit of the wetter side. I mess up my finger is pressing on that other finger. Look at my nail. It's already ruined, and my ring want to come off too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press it back into place. Okay, in case this happens when you're working on a client, press it into place, press it down. Okay, do not let it get like that. Press, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to fix this in a minute. So press. It's when it's wet, make sure you press it down like that. So I'm gonna work on the pinky, just so my finger doesn't touch my middle finger anymore. So this one is a smaller finger, so I can do like a 1 bead. So hold it in place, clean my brush, flush it into the cuticles, and turn the fingers. You see how I'm turning the fingers? So when you're working with your clients, make sure you kind of twist their finger a little bit in the direction that you want it to go, but not like really twist it so you don't hurt your clients. Okay, so kind of twist it very lightly, and then press it down, and then pull it all the way down into like the center. You see how I'm pulling it to the center, and then now that's done. Again, pull it down, kind of tap it in place. And remember when we were talking about like doing it like the old school French with the French brush, kind of clean off, give it as like the gel, the nice perfect smile line. So same way. Okay, I'm using my brush, kind of clean off, dip it in a little bit monomer, and then kind of clean off the edges like that. But if you did not make the French, the French super straight, don't worry. When that is dry, we can go back and hand file the edges to make it super sharp. Okay, and let's go back to this one. I'm gonna use 2 bead. And you know, I think I love before, I'm like, I love just doing one bead application. But you know what? I grew to love doing 2 beads now. I feel like I enjoy it's just, you know, taking your time and just kind of play around with it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, they're both fun, but I have switched to 2. My method is doing 2 beads now. I kind of like to switch it up a little bit. And I'm gonna clean the smile line off like that. And do you guys know that Orlando premiere is actually coming up next week, and Notpolish is gonna be there. And I think this is the first time in 2 years? I think, no, 1 year or 2 years since pandemic, and they shut everything down. So now they finally open back up, and we're going. So if you guys are going to the Orlando premiere, make sure you come by our booth to say hi and, you know, hang out. And if you have any question, you can ask us right there. And for a lot of you guys that don't know what is Orlando premiere is like a once a year trade show for like nail techs, hairstylists, makeup artists. It's a big convention that has like beauty products, nail products, hair products, and you get to kind of meet and greet people that you see online. It's kind of like, it's very fun. It's a place where everybody gets to together, kind of see what's new on the market, or kind of come see like say, you know, your favorite brand, whatever that might be. If they're at the show, you can come there and meet them and see all the products in person. So I think it's a really fun show. If you guys can go, make sure you go. And let's fix this nail up, okay? Usually, if this is a real hand, I'll use my drill right there and just kind of move it out of the way. But this is not a real hand, and I'm too lazy to move my product out of the way, so I kind of rip off the nail and kind of smooth. And what I did is I actually went in with my bit and kind of smooth it back out again, and then reapply the product on top of it. You see, so remove it and then you reapply the product back on. So make sure you kind of like smooth out the part that it's ruined and then reapply on the product. You see, now it looks brand new again. So now this is done. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna use the candy coated collection. This is the new collection that we just launched. So I'm gonna show you how that look like. Okay, I'm just gonna demonstrate it real quick on how you can straighten out your smile line like that with a hand file. Okay, so when that's dry, just straighten it out like that, and make sure you remove all the dust off the tip first, and then I'm gonna apply on this candy coated collection. So this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna push it right in the center first and push it up on both of the side. So both of the side. Don't push it all the way up to the all the way up to the top. Okay, just like 50% is good, and then work it down, work it all the way, press and pull it all the way down to the tip of the nail. And the reason why we're doing it this way is because what if you're, you know, spending all your time to push the product all the way to the edge of the fringe, and then your product might end up drying on you. So just push it up like halfway like that, just like what I'm doing, and then pull the rest of the product off, like work it into the nails and pull it off. And then once that is done, working it this way, you don't have to rush or anything. It gives you time to kind of play with it. And I'm gonna pick up a smaller bead. You see, that's a little bit small. So I'm gonna pick up another bead, and then I'm gonna apply almost right in the center again. And then now I'm gonna use the tip of my brush to kind of drag it all the way in there. You see that? I kind of drag it all the way in there. Clean my brush, tucked it in there, and then clean my brush again, and then press the rest of the product into like right into the center of the nail. You see that? And then pull the rest down. Just blend it all in. You see, I find this is the easiest way for me to work in the French tip. So again, almost right in the middle, press the tip all the way up, and then all the way up. Clean my brush, dip in a little bit monomer, make sure I clean whatever is sticking to the side, and then once that is done, I'm going to press the rest of the product towards the center right there, and then towards the center, and then pull the rest off to kind of blend it into the nail, just like that. So that's like my technique of doing it, and I find that's the easiest way for me to do it, and the fastest and the cleanest way for me to do it. So if you guys have other ways, go for it. That's just the way, you know, I did it. Okay, so now this way we're gonna do the same thing again. So have you guys been working on a lot of like Halloween nails or maybe fall nails? I feel like this is like Halloween but fall as well, because of the color scheme that we're picking. I am sticking with like a more brown and a more like nude and stuff like that. So let me talk about this candy coated collection, right? So this candy coated collection, it comes in 12 colors, and what I really love about it, it comes in like 3 different kind of shade of nudes, like lighter, darker, more brown. I like this one the best because it's more of the brown nude, and you guys know I love brown nudes, so this is like a more of a brown nude, and it's completely sheer, so it's all see-through. It's perfect for, I mean, all the colors. Like, look, I got this brown nudes for the fall. We have like a light, like a jade color. You can use that for any day, and it has like we have a light blue and a yellow and a pink and a sheer pink with glitter, with champagne glitters, and a black and a white. So it's like all your primary colors, all these beautiful colors. So, and they all come in 2 ounce. So if you guys don't have it, make sure you guys grab it. I think you guys gonna be seeing me use them a lot on my Instagram. So pull it down. Talking about Instagram, do you know I ran across a page, like a video? It was really quick. I didn't even see like a quarter of the video, but I don't know why I exited out the video so fast that it disappeared. But it says something about only use 5 hashtags now for Instagram. I don't know why, but I am gonna give it a try. Maybe it's a better way of hashtag, and maybe it's a better way of doing it now. I don't know, but I'm giving it a try. Do you guys know anything about doing only 5 hashtags on Instagram now? I'm used to doing like a bunch, so let me know. Okay, so you see how, look how beautiful this is. This is sheer, that sheer nude. This is perfect for the French look, or just a solid color, whatever it might be, will be beautiful. And if you decided to use like a shiny top coat on it, it'll be fine too. But you know me, I like to use matte. I'm gonna switch up a little bit. I'm gonna use a different technique on this front. So I kind of tilt the finger to the side a little bit and put it in and kind of drag it all the way up. You see? Tilt the finger and drag it all the way up, and then now I'm gonna hold it in place, push it upward like that, clean the brush, and tap it all the way up. And then you see how often I actually dip my brush into the monomer, just so I can keep it like I dip it in and I kind of clean it a little bit, so that way it can keep my brush really clean. Never ever work with a dirty brush. You will notice, like, sometimes I'm working, I'm like, dude, the brush is getting dirty, and I'm like, I'm really trying to push, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try to push through it, just one more finger, and that one finger takes a long time because it's a dirty brush and it's so hard to work with. Every time I lift up my brush, there's acrylic stuck to my brush, so it's a mess to work with. So that's why I never ever work with a dirty brush that has acrylic stuck to it. Okay guys, make sure you keep your brush really clean, really clean. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna apply it again to the side, and then bring it all the way up. You see that? Push it up and then drag it down. I usually when I apply my acrylic on, I keep the shape of the nails pretty well. But when you do the French with a powder, I feel like it gets a little bit more messier than just applying just a solid color. it gets a little bit messier, and that's okay. Okay guys, that's okay when it gets a little bit more messier, because you know, because we gonna drill it all off anyway. So same goes for this pinky. Pull it all the way up, there you go, and then pull it all the way up. So I've been doing a lot of Halloween nails for my Instagram, and I've been loving it. I love the Halloween theme, and I love doing, you know what I've been loving? I've been doing a lot of hand painted nail art, and I absolutely love it. Do you guys like hand painted nail arts? And does it take you guys a long time? I mean, it still takes me a long time, but you know, it's more so depending on what I'm doing. Some stuff are a little bit faster, and some stuff is a little bit longer. And then just cut it at the end like that. Keep it really, 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 really thin at the tip, the very tip of the nails. That way, when you shape the nails, it actually holds the shape a lot better. Okay, so keep it really, really thin at the tip of the nail. And guess what, guys? Millie Ann is turning 1 year old in less than a month. Do you guys feel old yet? I feel old because didn't we just did an announcement, a gender reveal, and now she is about to be 1? Like, what? That don't make no sense. How is she about to be 1? She has 4 teeth. She talks a lot, and she absolutely loves to eat. That girl munch all day long. She's such the perfect baby. I mean, because it's my baby, so. But she doesn't cry. She's not fussy. All she likes to do is eat, sleep, and play. Literally no crying at all. I'm so blessed. Okay, so I'm gonna take my time on the shaping a little bit. We're gonna use the 5-in-1 cross bit from Notpolish, and when I'm doing it on the left side, you notice how I'm kind of pulling it downwards. So pull it downward, right? So when I'm working on the left side, I pull it down like that, down. So the motion is going downwards, okay? And then I'm gonna switch to the right side. And the motion will be going upward. You see that? I'm pushing the nail, the drill bit upward, and then I'm just gonna go sideways a little bit right there, sideways, but still upward position, right? I mean upward motion. And this way it's down, okay? So on the left side it's down, and on the right side it's up. Can you guys, you see how I'm pulling it down, like that, pulling it down. And then this side I am gonna pull it, well, still kind of smooth it out a little bit, down. And this side I'm kind of pulling it, moving it upward like that. Okay, so you guys notice that we do a lot of shaping with the drill bit, because that saved me a lot of time and shoulder pain, okay? But if you guys are very nervous doing this for the first time, the 5-in-1 cross bit is also a safety bit, so it does provide you with, you know, more of a safety drilling. Does that make sense? Well, just go on a slower speed if you're new at it, okay? Don't go too fast. And I'm just gonna smooth out the top area, so in a circular motion like that. Smooth right there. It's a little bit thicker. I'm gonna pull it downwards like this in a downward motion. So anytime you want to remove more of the product, make sure you pull it down like this. Pull it down, because you know how you kind of do a backfill with when you do a backfill, you pull it down like this, right? You don't go in circular motion, because that will take you forever to remove the product. So down like this will remove more of the product and a lot faster. And across like this in circular motion, it's just kind of like smooth out any bumps and lumps on top of the nail. So you only do this when you want to smooth out the nails, and when you want to remove the nails, you kind of pull it downwards, okay? I hope that makes sense. And then again, I'm just gonna go in and smooth out, kind of taper out right there as well. Taper out as well right there. All right, I'm just gonna speed that up a little bit, and then now that's done. Okay guys, when you guys are shaping, make sure the nails is all the way taper from the top to the bottom, not just the bottom part and then it'll be wide right there, then that shape don't look good. Okay, make sure you taper from all the way the top of the nails all the way to the bottom of the nail tip right there. So make sure you keep it all taper. I see a lot of nails where they taper on the bottom and then they leave the top area right where the nail plate is all bulky. Then it just, in my opinion, it doesn't look good. I like it taper all the way from the top to the bottom down, not just at the tip of the nails. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know. Make sure you clean the bottom as well. You see that? Clean the bottom. Make sure that bottom is straight too. You see that? Sometimes people just file the top and they leave that part on the bottom all raggedy and jagged. So don't do that. Make sure you clean the bottom like this, okay? Be careful. Don't go too fast, too crazy. You might end up cutting your client. So take it slow. Once you're more comfortable, then you can work on your speed. Speed comes later, okay? Do not rush. Don't rush. My first fill took like 4 hours, so I still didn't give up. So don't rush, okay? So take your time. If you are slower, it's okay. Speed will come eventually, and all that good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna dust it off to kind of show you guys the shape. You see how it's taper from all the way from the cuticle all the way to the tip of the nails, all the way from there. Super, it's all one shape, one side. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the bottom of the nails. You guys don't, make sure you guys apply really clean. Okay, you don't want acrylic stick to the bottom of the nails. You see how clean that is? Okay, there's a little piece right there. I'm gonna just pick it off. But you see how I didn't have my acrylic stuck to the nails? If you did, then make sure you use your bit to kind of clean it up. Okay, don't let your clients leave with a glob of acrylic on the bottom of their nails. Okay, make sure now we're gonna buff it all nice and smooth. Okay, now this is nice and smooth. Here's a little trick. Before I do any hand painting, okay, you can see, look at that shape, taper all the way from the top to the bottom. Okay, so look, now my brush has been dipping in monomer and I'm trying to clean it, but you can kind of see, a little bit of, you see that? A little bit powder is still stuck to it. I'm gonna dip it in a little bit. I'm gonna soak it in monomer some more so that can be all off. Okay, here's my trick. Before I do any hand painting, I put on a thin layer of matte top coat on top of the nails. This way, anytime I paint on any line, gel or anything, my line will come out super straight and super smooth. So that's the trick. Okay guys, make sure you put on a thin coat of matte top coat before you paint on any line where it's gel art or anything like that. But before we cure it, make sure you clean off the edges like this and the top to make sure it keeps the shape of the nails. This is the brown that I'm going to be using, is M64, and this is our new art brush. It comes in dual head, so one side is a little bit longer, one side is a little bit shorter, and this is the brown. I'm using M64 and I'm going to drag it up. You see how beautiful this brown is? And when I do nail art, a lot of time I only use one color. Okay, I only use one color. I'm gonna show you guys that later. So I'm just gonna color it in like this. You see how nice and pigmented that is? Color it in one straight line all the way. Hold your breath. One straight line. Okay, so now that's a darker brown. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use white gel polish. This bottle is super empty, that's why I tilt it all the way like that. Okay, because it's completely empty. White gel polish mixed with your brown, and guess what? You have a lighter shades of brown. That's the trick that a lot of people, I guess, did not know. They think, oh, I have to go find all these gel colors that you're gonna have like 20 colors at your table, but no, you don't have to. Just use one color and dilute it down with white gel. Then you have another shade. Look, two different colors, two different shades by just mixing a little bit of white gel in it. Okay, that's what I use with a lot of my Notpolish gel liner art. I use hot pink. I mix it down with a little bit more white. I get a different shade of pink. So one shade of pink, I can get like 10 colors out of it by just mixing it with white. Okay, so now I'm gonna make this brown a little bit darker. So I'm gonna mix in that same brown. Now I have a different shade of brown Who would have thought, right? Different shade of brown. And then this is what I'm gonna paint my ghost with. Different shade of brown. You see, just one color and I'm getting all these different colors. How cool that is, right? And I'm gonna paint on this gel with a paint on this ghost with this gel. Okay. And then clean, make sure it's nice and clean. And then now we're going to do the spider web with the same color. You could mix it to make it a little bit lighter or just keep the same color. And make sure you stabilize your finger. Okay, to do straight lines, make sure you stabilize. Use your pinky finger, stabilize it against your ring finger. And I'm going to do my little swoop for my spider webs. I love doing spider webs. It's so fun and so fast. Look at this. Swoop. Quick little swoop to it. Look how cute this is. Don't you guys love browns? I've been into browns so much. But look at this sheer nude brown. The candy coated collection. Look how beautiful this is. This will be just beautiful by itself, right? This is my new favorite color. And then do my spider webs. Make sure the lines is thin, okay? You don't want thick lines for your spider webs because it just look bulky. So make sure you keep the lines pretty thin, and then make sure you keep this line thin as well by adding this little French across. Give it a little bit more dimension. You see? Up, boom. How cute. And for the drip, I usually one line in the middle and two lines on the side, and then I'm going to draw my little droplet right there. Color it in. Draw my droplet. Color it in. So usually the line in the middle is the longest, right? And two smaller lines on the side, and then draw in your droplets. Once that is done, I'm gonna give it a little curve across. You see that? Give it that little swoop. That make it more like a drip. If you don't give it that curve, it just look like three line. You see how giving that little curves adds to it almost instantly? You see this curve right there? Make it a little curve like that. Make it look, when you do the curve, it looks more like a drip. And clean right there, right? And then brush it down. And then give it a little. See, I feel like my designs doesn't take that long. I just think coming up with design takes me longer. Okay, so now I'm doing a black line, thin black line, and then I make an X, a little 2, X, 2 lines, X, 2 lines, and X. See how cute is that little barbed wire? No, it's not barbed wire. It looks like it's already, it's stitches, right? Ah, whatever, it looks cute. X 2 lines, X 2 lines, okay? And make sure it's nice and thin. Don't make it super thick, okay? We don't want thick. So for this nail, we're gonna do a little spider. So the spider head is always smaller, right? And the spider body is always bigger. The butt is always bigger than the head. Give it more dimension, okay? And then now let's zoom it in. Pull out, up. Pull out, up. Straight out and then down. Straight out and down, and straight out and down. So I think it makes the spider look a little bit more realistic when you do this method, like pull out, down, out and down, out and down. You see? Color back in, make sure it's nice. Oops, I made my spider a little fat, so I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger at the bottom. There you go. And you see how that little big drop right at top of the brush, you see that? I'm not gonna do that because once I put it on, that's gonna look like a glob. So I'm gonna clean it up. Look, I kind of wipe it against my my jar to kind of give it that nice and sharp tip, okay? You don't want that glob hanging there, and you put it on, you're gonna have a glob of a black paint. So make sure you clean it, make sure it's nice and sharp and just the right amount. You don't want that much paint on there either. And look, you see, I keep touching the nails. I am my worst client. I touched the nails twice already. if I was a client, if I was a client, I would be very annoyed at myself. This, I'm gonna do a ghost, so 2 circle dots for the eyes, and for the mouth, we're gonna make a for the mouth, we're gonna make it a little bit longer. Okay, look longer, so it looks like the ghost saying boo or oh. Okay, this is how I clean my brush, right? I don't dip it in acetone or anything. I just kind of use a piece of bounty paper and kind of wipe it off like that. You see, wipe it off. I'm not gonna use any acetone because it's gonna dry out my brush and make it all poofy. And then I'm gonna use white and give it little eyeballs. Give it some eyes, and then I'm gonna give these spiders some eyes as well, some little dots. Today we're not gonna be doing rhinestone because I'm gonna go home. I gotta go home, right? But let me show you. This has been soaking in acetone. I mean monomer. Never soak your brush in acetone. So look, now it's super clean. Look how clean this is. You see, there's nothing stuck to it, so always dip it. You see how while I'm working, I just leave my brush soaking in monomer. That way you can just kind of remove it, and I kind of press it pretty hard against a paper towel to kind of flatten it out, kind of train my brush to be kind of more on the flatter side. This is a not pinch brush. I have 2 brushes always, one pinch and one not pinch, and this is not pinch. It has more of a rounder shape to it, and the pinch brush has more of a flatter body to it. So make sure I like to work with both. And then I'm gonna skip the rhinestone again. I'm gonna skip the rhinestone because we gotta go home to the baby. I'm gonna go straight on top of it with the matte top coat. I know on my picture on Instagram and stuff like that, it has rhinestones, but we're gonna skip the rhinestone because the rhinestone is pretty simple application, you know, same thing all the time. We do that a lot. So I'm just gonna go straight into with the Notpolish matte top coat. This matte top coat is super velvet, as you can see. Look how velvet this is, all the way in there. And then before we dry the nails, make sure you clean off the edges because gel likes to run. So when it runs onto the edges of the nail, it will ruin the shape. So by doing this, you ensure that the shape stay nice and sharp. Look how nice and sharp this shape is. I'm gonna show you guys. Look how beautiful this color is. And then we're gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys at a different angle. Okay, look. Alright guys, that's the end of it, and I'll see you guys hopefully next week with another video.